How do you deregister a child of compulsory school age, and are you even allowed to do so? That's what we'll be discussing in today's video. Hey, I'm Sophia and I'm the one in 1.3. Welcome to the family. So today we're going to be talking about how you can deregister your child if you want to pull them out of school once they've already been registered. Before I continue, I want to make it clear that I'm not advocating putting a child out of school to homeschool them just for the sake of doing so, but I'm speaking more to families and parents who have given this much thought and they know that homeschooling is the better method for them and their children. So in this video, I'm going to give you 4 common concerns that parents have when thinking about taking their children out of school, and then I'll tell you how to do it. Now, one of the questions that constantly come up is, number 1, am I even allowed to homeschool my child? So I'm going to say that if you have a care order, a school attendance order, or your child attends a special school run by the local authority, then you may need to get some advice from another homeschool organisation or from the local authority, or some specialist advice about what it is that you can do. Every situation is very different, but some of these reasons may make it a little bit more difficult to home educate your child. I do know of some families who found it quite hard trying to pull their children out of school for some of those reasons. So I'd advise you to get some advice first before trying to deregister them, as it might make it a little bit more complicated, but I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm just not equipped to advise you correctly. Number 2, legally, a child must be in education if they're of compulsory school age. Now, compulsory school age means that they go to school on the year, within the year group that they will be turning 5. They must continue to have a full-time education until they reach school leaving age, which is normally 16 years old. However, this learning does not need to happen in school and can take place at home also. So, do you currently have a child who's of compulsory school age that's due to start school this September? Before I go into the choice of homeschooling, I just want to outline that there are many different school choices out there that you may consider, or you may have considered already, or you may wish to consider first. Or homeschool could be your first choice too. I just want to let you know what is out there. You may choose your local community school. You may choose another mainstream school. You may choose a school that's local to your home or maybe further away. You may choose a private school. You may choose a free school, an academy, and there's even boarding schools. But then you may choose to homeschool, or another word would be to home educate your child. Now, if your child is 4 years old and they've never been to school, then you don't really have to do anything, because your child has never been registered with a school. They don't have a registration number for a school, so therefore there's nothing really for you to deregister them with. Does that make sense? If you have a child who's already started school, then you will need to deregister that child. To deregister your child is quite simple, really. All you have to do is write a letter to your head teacher informing them that you are now going to be taking responsibility for your child's education. Without deregistering your child, you'll still be responsible for, attendance orders, and, I think there's like this thing they do where you have to pay money if your child hasn't attended school. I'm not sure if they still do that, but I'll research it and check that out soon. But in terms of if the child is still in school, that means you're kind of going with the school's methods and the school's rules and the school's policies. So that's why you should deregister them. Once they're deregistered, then you're taking on that responsibility for your child and you're backed up by law. So legally you're allowed to do so. Many head teachers won't have a problem with that, but some of them may not really understand. Like if you're the first family homeschooling your child, like some of the heads may not really have heard of this before and may want to get advice, but you do not have to ask them permission to homeschool your children. You're just simply letting them know. And then it's their job to then inform the LEA, who will probably be in touch with you just to find out if they if you would like to have a visit from them or to see how they may support you. And again, you don't need to take this support if you don't want to. You might wish to. You may find it better that they're there to help you. Maybe in your local authority there are more things available to you and your families. Very unlikely, because I found in my experience that there's not much really available to children outside of what I pay for them privately. But that's what you do to deregister your child. Okay, so let me address those viewers that may be watching this right now and thinking that I'm advocating all parents homeschooling their children, because it seems as though many people want to talk about the parents who do a bad job about it, even though there's hundreds and thousands of us out there that do a really good job for raising our children and teaching them at home. There obviously is the few that we've heard about, that haven't done right by their child. So if you're worried about homeschooling and safeguarding, I'll just like to say that the homeschooled child is not hidden from society. A parent who pulls their child out of school should not be looked at as guilty in the same way that a parent who sends their child to school should not be looked at as somebody that's guilty. Do you understand? So it's like, just because a child is learning at home doesn't mean that they're restricted from society. That child has already been known. That child is already known. When a child is born within the UK, they must be registered within their district. So wherever the hospital is located, that is a district for that child where they've given birth, and the parent has an obligation. I think it is 42 days or 6 weeks after a child is born, that's a maximum. The parent has a duty to register that child with this local district. So the child is already registered, they already have a birth certificate, they're already on file, they're already known to the NHS because they would have delivered the child within the hospital. Even for those who had a child within, that had a home birth or delivered in a different way, that child will still need to be registered somewhere. So they would have been seen already by doctors and midwives and health visitors, and their neighbours would have seen them, family and friends should have seen them. If a parent has chosen not to register their child, then that parent has already broken the law. So I'm saying that by the time a child is 4 years old, their details are already within the system somewhere anyway. So for a parent to decide to pull their child out of school, it doesn't mean that they're going to cause their child any danger or hide them from society, because they can't. Basically, they're there, they're already known. And if there's any concerns that somebody has about a homeschooled child, it should be addressed in the same way that there would be, you would address concerns for any child, because we all have a duty of care to protect our young ones. I hope that helped. Sorry, I get a bit quite stern in what I'm saying, because I want people to understand that I'm speaking for the majority of homeschoolers who are doing right by their children. So there you have it, and that was my video about how you can deregister your child from school once they've been registered. If you want help with writing a letter, you can go to my website or click on the link below, which will give you a sample letter as what you could use when writing the letter to the head teacher. Okay, well, if you like my videos, like I've said before, and you have someone who may be looking to homeschool their children, send them to my channel or leave a comment below, and I will help you as much as I can. Also, like and subscribe to be notified of more videos that I have when they come out. Speak to you soon. Bye.